The good old Big 12. For a moment there, it looked like the SEC was going to overtake the Big 12 as this is the most interesting conference title race. Nope. The SEC's fascinating. The SEC's got big stakes going into rivalry week. Georgia has secured their spot in the SEC title game. Nobody else has. Oregon has secured their spot in the Big Ten championship game. Ohio State just has to beat Michigan. They're going to beat Michigan. SMU has secured its spot in the ACC championship game. They'll play Miami if the Hurricanes win, or Clemson if the Hurricanes lose. I suspect that'll be Miami. Do you know who's locked their spot up in the Big 12 championship game? 0 teams. Nobody. Not a single solitary team has locked this thing up. As many as 9 teams. I need you to hear me and hear me clearly and understand that this has been reported, researched, documented, and I have never seen anything like this before. As many as 9 teams can win the Big 12 championship going into the last week of the regular season. I mean, I've brought this line up before, but it bears repeating. This is Tom Haverford in Parks and Recreation. He's looking, I don't even remember what he's looking at. He's just looking at a still frame photo, and he says, "It's beautiful. I've been staring at this for 5 hours now. This is the Big 12. This is the most entertaining conference title race I can possibly remember. There was the spectacle. Is that what we're going to call it? Sure, why not? At Mountain America Stadium, which is where Arizona State plays. Tempe had a crazy scene, a storming of the field, a cursing out of officials. And then the students left, and then a Hail Mary was caught at the 3-yard line, and Arizona State won anyway. And Kenny Dillingham might be the most likable coach in college football. And I have been told on a couple occasions that he and I have a similar appearance to one another. And I'm not going to comment on that. On an unrelated note, Kenny Dillingham might be the sharpest looking coach in all of college football. So he's 34 years old. His passion for Arizona State University cannot be understated. If you have never seen this guy talk in front of a microphone, when he is asked a question about leading the Sun Devil football program, every single fan base in the country should aspire to have a guy that cares as much as he does. Few do, but he loves it there. And that's not just a football program, but an athletic department that was not run well for a long time. And he understands his importance as the football coach of revitalizing everything down there. They're trying to activate the Valley. Consider them activated. I saw them on the field on Saturday afternoon because they beat BYU. So Arizona State and Iowa State control their own destiny here. That's it. That is it. BYU, Colorado, in the mix. West Virginia, Baylor, Texas Tech. These are all teams that through crazy tiebreakers could find themselves in the Big 12 championship game. This is going to be the most phenomenally awesome Saturday, but confusing that I can remember. A couple of good people to follow. Ross Dellinger does a good job. Nicole Auerbach of The Athletic does a good job. Pretty sure she's still at The Athletic. Heather Danich of ESPN. They lay out Brett McMurphy, the Action Network as well. If you're looking for follows on Twitter that will keep you updated with tiebreakers and lay things out very clearly and concisely, those people are excellent ones to follow because this stuff can get very confusing. And they all had different layouts about all the different scenarios and how the tiebreakers work and whatnot. If Arizona State beats Arizona, not a guarantee. Not a guarantee. I'll explain why in just a moment. If Arizona State beats Arizona, and if Iowa State wins as well, they will play in the Big 12 championship game. If you have a 4-way tie, which is what you currently have, Colorado, BYU, Iowa State, Arizona State, they're all sitting there at 6-2. If that 4-way tie remains, then it is Iowa State and it is Arizona State for the Big 12 championship and the right to go to the college football playoff. Iowa State, not a surprise. Their preseason win total was 7.5. I had them going over. Here they are. Arizona State, I had them going over their preseason total of 4.5. I didn't see this. I did not see this. Which brings me to the duel in the desert this week. We'll talk about the game matchup as this week progresses, but here's something that you should know. Arizona stinks. Even more than I thought they were a bowl team. I thought a great quarterback and wide receiver could get you to a bowl game, but the quarterback part of that has been missing for the Wildcats. It hasn't gone well for Brent Brennan and company. So they're missing a bowl game after TCU beat them in Fort Worth this past week. The motivation level for Arizona in this game is going to be higher in this matchup than it has for any other game this season. I don't care what anybody in that locker room says. Heck, they might even tell it to you outright. Because not only is Arizona not even close to where their preseason goals and aspirations were, they're not even playing another game after this one. This is their Super Bowl. So if you're Arizona State, you better come out ready to go. You better avoid the emotional letdown factor after winning one of the biggest games in Tempe in the last 15 to 20 years. You better come out ready, because I guarantee you, mentally, Arizona wants nothing more. There's nothing else to play for, and that's a dangerous football team. That is I don't care what the logo is, what the teams are, the conferences. You give me a rivalry where one side has nothing left to lose, they're going to throw the kitchen sink at Arizona State to win this game. I bet they'll be ready with a fake field goal if they get a good look, a fake punt. They'll go for it on fourth down. They will do anything to win the game, because this could save the perception of Brent Brennan and that staff who have had a rough go of it in the first year. And playing spoiler for the team they share a state with, whose rivalry is one of the most underrated in all of college football, that's not going to be an easy thing to do. Not going to be an easy thing to do. But Iowa State, they won. What can you say? They won. Utah was on like their 18th quarterback of the season. Not actually. They were on like their 6th. That's serious. They got down to their 6th quarterback. And Iowa State found a way to win. They've been stumbling to the finish line here, Iowa State. But they're still here. They fell off after those 2 straight losses, but they found a way. They found a way to go to Rice-Eccles and win. Not an easy thing to do. Not an easy thing to do. So they'll get an opportunity to go to the Big 12 championship game. And boy, I couldn't love this conference anymore right now, because I thought it'd be fun. I thought it'd be exciting. I thought it would be great. And it's even better. It is legitimately even better than I thought it would be. And I don't know how you got to that point, but we're absolutely there. We're absolutely there. By the way, Colorado is going to win. They play Oklahoma State. They need help. They need help. But help is often given to those in college football who hold their own. And Colorado will have a chance to bounce back, hold their own, and get to 9-3 this season, which, by the way, is still a successful year. If Colorado doesn't appear in the Big 12 title game or the college football playoff or anywhere close to it, and they just go to a good bowl game, number one, it'll be the most watched version of that bowl probably ever. And number two, this is undoubtedly a successful season for Deion Sanders and company. And remember, they got Juju Lewis. Remember, former 5-star quarterback committed to USC. Yep, USC flipped somebody else. Bryce Underwood flipped from LSU to Michigan, and Juju Lewis flipped from USC to Colorado. If you were looking for an indicator that Deion Sanders is going to stick around in the Big 12 for a while, Juju Lewis would be the guy. He has got mega star potential. Not every high school quarterback prodigy works out that way, but Juju Lewis can certainly be the next great quarterback at Colorado. That was a huge, huge commitment. Might talk about that more later this week. But the wild, wacky, and wonderful Big 12 is going to give you a rivalry week unlike any other. And 9 teams are still alive. You could have an 8-way tiebreaker in this conference. I'm grinning ear to ear for those listening on podcasts, just being able to say that. But alas, we can. I hope it never changes. Appreciate everyone listening. I'll see you next time. And until then, hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.